Well, thank you, IMA Moga. I must say, very patient audience. पुराने जमाने जदों 5-5 बच्चे होंदे सी 6-6 बच्चे होंदे सी जिहड़ा आखिरी बच्चा हुंदा सी वो बड़ा दुखी हुंदा सी कि यार नवे कपड़े खरीदे जांदे सब तो पहले वास्ते वो दूजे नूं दिते जांदे मेरे तक आंदे आंदे तां चिथड़े बचदे वो सो हाल मेरा अज सो गल तां सारी हो चुकी हुण मैनूं कहंदे बोलो Anyway, I fell in love with my wife 30 years ago, and today I fell in love with Mr. Rajat Malhotra. I really liked his talking. Fantastic. There was also some applause for Mr. Amit Chhabra when he said regarding a judgment that police officers who do not follow the judgment of Jacob Matthew versus State of Punjab would be punished themselves. Do you know, to date, not a single policeman has been ever punished. This judgment is from 2005. Medical Legal Action Group under RTI went to all SSPs, all DIGs of Punjab, Haryana and Chandigarh, and we took statement and we took replies from them asking how many cases of medical negligence under section 304 or 304A have you registered against doctors, and in how many of them had you actually taken a medical opinion. Since 2010 to 2014, total of 70 doctors had FIRs registered against them, and only 4 cases medical board's opinion was taken before, and not a single policeman has ever been penalized for this. So that applause should be taken back. Medical Legal Action Group has already filed a writ petition in Punjab and Haryana High Court, and it has been accepted. Punjab has already issued notices to all police officers regarding our case, and repeatedly stressed and again has stressed that no arrest of doctors should occur unless and until. But the point is, Supreme Court judgment came 2005. It again was reiterated in 2009. We are now in 2015. Nothing changes. So let us move ahead with the talk today. Ultimately, what are the problems which occur where negligence of a doctor is alleged? We will be speaking and restricting ourselves only to the negligence part. A patient or the relatives can complain to your employer if you are employed. A compensation case can be filed in Consumer Forum. An FIR can be lodged against doctor under 304A, other sections of IPC. Complaint filed to Punjab Medical Council, MCI for medical negligence. A patient may also go to civil courts directly under law of torts to ask for compensation. And a complaint now to appropriate authority to cancel your PCPNDT Act or Clinical Establishment Act license. These are important areas which should not be forgotten. If there are some laws which I will describe, mostly I go by the devil and deep sea. However, for medical profession in India, this PCPNDT Act has come somewhere in between of the devil and the deep sea in the form of a dragon. Is there something new? Is prosecution of doctors something new? Hammurabi's code, Babylonian and Assyrian laws of ancient Mesopotamia, this is 1772 BC. What does it say? It's 218th point by IPC section maybe of that time. If a surgeon has operated and a person loses his eye, the surgeon's hand should be amputated. This was the law in 1772 in Babylon, and is also the law in India because Mr. Ramji Manji, the Chief Minister Bihar, had made the statement that he will cut hands of doctors who are negligent. We know Bihar is a backward state, but it is still in 1772 BC. This I did not know. Consumer Protection Act, if we are going to restrict ourselves to this, what did the act per se in the definition say? It included everything: banking, insurance, transport, processing. The word medical services was not there in the definition. Please go back and read the Consumer Protection Act again. The word medical services was not. Similarly, it also said very clearly, it does not include rendering of any service free of charge. If you have not charged anything, it is not a matter of Consumer Protection Act to be taken care. However, VP Shanta and others versus Indian Medical Association 1995, a bunch of petitions were taken up in this judgment, and they said no. If a doctor or a hospital is charging some of his patients and not charging some of the patients who are being seen free of cost, they remain consumers as per Consumer Protection Act. So that advantage which was there in the definition of Consumer Protection Act was taken away in 1995 by VP Shanta and others versus Indian Medical Association. But this judgment also very clearly specified that only outright cases of negligence will be taken up by consumer courts. Outright cases of negligence, they were earlier pointed out, you had to operate on the right side, you operate on the left side. Instead of an IV injection, you give an intra-arterial injection. These are the outright cases of negligence, and they would be taken up for civil negligence. This was not a case regarding criminal negligence. This was simply a case regarding Consumer Protection Act. JJ Merchant and others versus Srinath Chaturvedi. This judgment came in 2002, and it overturned what VP Shanta and others and Indian Medical Association said, that not only outright cases of medical negligence, cases which were complicated, which required evidence of experts, can also be taken up by consumer courts. And now, of course, we are seeing video conferencing as expert evidence from abroad in consumer cases. 2002 amendment, very drastic, very less is known about this to most doctors and even to some advocates. Compensation ordered by consumer courts is now recoverable in land revenue. Power of judicial magistrate first class has now been given to consumer courts. What does this mean? A consumer court can order your arrest. Substitution of legal heir or representative as a party to the complaint in event of death of the complainant or opposite party. What does this mean? You are sick and tired of going to courts, of being harassed by advocates, of being looked down upon by judiciary. You decide to commit suicide. Please do not, because your wife, your legal heirs may not be doctors. And as per this amendment, the case, in case of your death, will continue against your legal heirs, who will have to defend the case in your absence. And now, of course, in 2014, this has come. Consumers can now ask even NGOs to file cases on their behalf. This was not there earlier. What is the consumer literacy? How many cases? I was just told around 20,000 cases are filed against doctors. The total consumer literacy, I'm doubtful about that figure. And I'll come to the reason why. Consumer literacy, when we have seen since the time CPA came till 2014 when this report was published, Chandigarh has the distinction of having 57 cases filed for every 1,000 population. 57 cases per 1,000 population. This is NCDRC data. Haryana has 9. Punjab is lagging behind slightly, 6.5. Medical Legal Action Group had conducted a survey in which we asked doctors, have you ever faced medical negligence charges in courts? This was done about a year ago, and the reply we got was 25% of doctors nearly had been hauled up in courts under allegations of medical negligence. I had recently said in my previous slide that consumer courts now have power to award jail sentence. Here is a case, friend of mine, Dr. Sanjay Saluja. He's an orthopedician. His son's classmate fell down in a football field, fractured his femur. The femur was plastered. The patient developed what we call compartment syndrome. There was swelling and there was gangrene of the leg, and the leg had to be amputated. This was the case. This case was very vigorously fought. There were around 50, 60 front page news articles in this case. And finally 70 lakh compensation was ordered. Now, this was ordered by National Commission, and Dr. Sanjay Saluja and other parties, they went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court accepted the case, but did not stay the order of the National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission, either by omission or intent, we don't know. Normally, as a layperson, I understand, if I am approaching a higher court and the higher court has accepted my case, automatically the decision of the lower court gets stayed till that time the decision is taken. But in this case, the State Commission went ahead and ordered 2 years jail sentence to Dr. Sanjay Saluja because the 70 lakhs which National Commission ordered was not paid, since he was assuming that he's in Supreme Court. Similarly, another case, not related to medicine, but I'm just giving you an example that consumer courts today have the power to order arrest. Doctors, of course, can be arrested for a number of things. This was a very, this was brought up recently earlier regarding rape, and this 2-year-old boy was sodomized by a 45-year-old man, and he was caught. He was handed over to the police. The police inspector and the constable, they took some money and let him go. He ran away to his village. The father, meanwhile, took the boy to a doctor, and the doctor treated him. So a hue and cry was raised. The police had let the culprit go. So an investigation team was formed. The culprit was caught from Bihar. He was brought back. But meanwhile, the doctor was arrested that you have treated the boy with sodomy and you have not informed the police. The police had already been informed. The culprit had been caught and handed over to the police. But the doctor was arrested over here. Lot of issues on which negligence is alleged. The hospital had multiple ventilators, but for that particular patient, they did not have a ventilator, and negligence was alleged and compensation awarded. One of the original speakers brought up this topic. I will bring it up again regarding quantum of compensation. 93, the first case of high compensation was V. Chandrasekhar. He was a table tennis champion of India, and he underwent some surgery in Apollo Hospitals, Madras. At that time, 17,37,000 was awarded, and that was the maximum compensation ever. After this came Spring Meadows Hospital case in 1998. Another 17 lakhs or so was awarded. In this case, instead of injection chloramphenicol IV, the nurse mistakenly gave injection chloroquine IV. The child arrested, was resuscitated, had brain damage. Again, it was a very hotly contested case. But basically, the ceiling started going up in 2009, Prashant Dhanaka versus Nizam Institute of Hyderabad. This was a cardiothoracic case. This was a chest tumor, and for an excision biopsy, the surgeon had, a cardiothoracic surgeon had gone in. Intraoperatively, he found the tumor is progressing into the spine. He called a neurosurgeon. They operated, removed the tumor. Post-operatively, the boy had paraplegia. And that was ischemic injury to the spine. And in this case, 1 crore 5 lakhs